let's talk about the first one really quick. This was from last year's STAR test, okay? Are you all listening to me?
Yes.
I need you to know how to do a multiple choice question. And number one, I told you to use quadratic formula, and I'm going to tell you what to use on the test. But if this was the STAR test, I want to explain why I would use quadratic formula with this. And it has to do with your answer choices. Now, I told you just find the decimals right now, but I want to talk testing strategies because you're going to see this week and probably on STAR of how to know that these are quadratic formula problems. Look at A and C. What do they have in there?
Square root.
What on our formula chart has a square root on it? What formula has a square root on it? The quadratic formula. So if you see answer choices and they have square roots in there, you're going to see this on your CFU. My brain is telling me I should be using the quadratic formula here. Now, we're going to do this all off to the side, and then we're just going to match our answer choices here. So we kind of already talked about this. I think a lot of you guys have this part going. What do we have to be equal to every single quadratic we ever solve?
0.
So we have to add 3x right here, and I have to add 3x. And remember, we've got to be in standard form, which is on your chart as well. The squared term, the x term, the constant. So you have to put it in the right order. So we've got x squared plus 3x minus 2 equals 0. Did everyone get there? Okay, we need to be able to get there. Then we find our A, our B, and our C. And I've heard Coach Holt and I talking to several of you about this. These are numbers. These are not variables. They are next to variables, but they are numbers. And you never, ever, ever type in X in regular calculator screen. That is not allowed. What is the A value? 1, because that is the coefficient of x squared. Ethan, what's the B value?
3x.
Just a number.
Just 3.
And then, Glenna, what's the C value? -2. Good, you've got to get that sign there.
And guys, I walked around. There's only a couple of you that actually wrote A equals 1, B equals 3, and C equals -2. If you're not writing A, B, and C and writing that, I feel like you're not going to be successful. I think you're going to be more successful if you write that down. A equals 1, B equals 3, C equals -2. Write it down. Don't be lazy.
Because then what you're going to do is you're probably going to be going back to your formula chart, and it's really easy if you have a little like key here for you to know, oh, this is the number that I'm using. Yep. It's risky to go back to the equation and not be able to read your writing or lose a negative sign or something. That's lazy. Don't be lazy, okay? We don't have time for that. So the formula says negative, and every single time, y'all are going to have to do this on your own. Every single time you input for A, B, or C, what am I always putting around it? Please write it like this. Negative, our B value is, go to your list, 3. Plus or minus, square root of, parentheses, B is, squared goes on the, and B goes in, parentheses, and don't forget the squared. Minus 4, parentheses, A, parentheses, C. All over 2 times A. Okay, remember there's only 2 places that you type a minus. One of them will be when you copy paste, that's a minus sign. The other one is in front of the 4. Everything else is a negative. Okay? I like to find this part underneath the radical first. Some of y'all do it all on your calculator at once, which is okay. But at minimum, I have to see this on your test. Do we understand that? Otherwise, I can give you no partial credit, and if you get it wrong, it is all wrong. 25 points, because there's only 4 questions. Okay? I find 3 squared minus 4. What?
On
Yes.
the real test,
The test
only
is
4.
4. So if you miss
Yes.
one, you
Friday,
make a
Thursday,
75,
Thursday.
right?
Correct. But if you have some partial credit, and I can see that you plugged in right, and it was just a calculation error, you might get half your points back. Okay? So I end up getting 17 right here, and then I can go to my big fraction, and I have -3 plus square root 17 over 2 times 1, copy paste, -3 minus square root 17. Okay? So these are the two decimals that I got. But as I said, we have answer choices here. And it will tell you, I think we will do hundredths here, 0.56, x equals negative 3.56. That's the hundredths. But I have those right here. Now, does this look like any of my answer choices?
No.
Okay, what two can I immediately throw out? Did we get nice, pretty numbers? No. Okay, so now we have to choose between A and C. So if you're unsure which one matches, what should you do?
Just put them
Just put them in. What'd you type, Brayden?
just put it in the calculator.
Tell me exactly what you typed. For A, what would you type?
I did,
Just look at the paper.
yeah, I didn't write it down. I just kind of wrote it exactly how it is.
What does A say?
3.
3 plus square root
Square root of
17 over 2. I'm just typing answer choice A. Does that match one of the two that I got right there?
No.
It's close. But what's wrong with it?
It's not positive.
It doesn't have a negative sign. So could A be the right answer?
No.
No. So what has to be the right answer? C. And then if you are still not all the way able to get a final answer, just put that in the calculator. But you also should be able to match from there, because what number did I get when on that highlighted part? What number did I get? 17. So I could tell right there it was 17. Then I just matched the rest of my formula, which would have said negative 3 plus or minus square root of 17. 2 times 1 is 2. So if you did it like all in your calculator at once, you probably wouldn't recognize the 17. If you did it in parts, you may recognize it there. But sometimes there's just different ways that they put their answer choices. So find the decimals, write them down, and then just go check A, B, C, and D. Doesn't have to be complicated. Okay? All right, this one asks for what's the positive solution. Okay, so it only wants one of them. And I told you to solve by factoring. Okay? We'll do this one together because we haven't done a lot of factoring in a while. What do we have to be equal to? 0. So, Johan, how do I move this?
Somebody at the door.
I got you.
Negative 135. Now, is there a like term over on the other side to combine with? Cruz says no. Cruz, where does the negative 135 go? First, second, or third place? Third, because it's the constant. So I have 4x squared plus 12x minus 135 equals 0. And now I am factoring, okay? This is going to be the first 4 questions of your test. You have to set it equal to 0. When we factor, we look for a GCF. Does 4, 12, and 135 have anything in common? Write this down. Do something. Do something today.
I didn't know you wrote.
4, 12, and 135. Do they have anything in common?
I don't know about that.
I don't think so.
No.
Okay? These are even, odd. So probably not. Okay? All right, so let's go to our number puzzle. What goes at the top of your number puzzle?
Big number.
Okay, it is a big number. So 4 times, what kind of 135 is that? Don't lose that. So negative 540.
What I did wrong.
And then what goes at the bottom? All right, so what are you going to type in y equals? Negative 540 divided by x. And I'm going to go look for 2 numbers that add to be 12. It's going to take a minute. Y'all work on that. You said negative 18
Yep.
and 30?
Positive 30.
And so we put X's on those. Good job. That's a big number at the top. And y'all, this is a star question. This is what they do. They put big numbers in those number puzzles. They are not always so nice. So Zane, what's next?
I don't know. You put those in the middle.
Yeah. So what comes down? What stays the same?
The 4x squared and
Okay.
135.
Okay. But in the middle, you put, do you want to put the negative 18 first or the 30?
I put the negative 18.
All right, that's a good idea. Negative 18x plus 30x minus 135 equals 0. Okay, we know how to do this. We have done this. Y'all are doing well at this. It's just been a minute. Okay? And then we group. Remember, in the first group, always, 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 you can take out an x. But do 4 and 18 have anything in common?
No.
Yes.
What do they have in common? 2. They're both even. Okay? Can't put a 4 in 18, but you can put a 2x. So go ahead and divide that out. What is 4x squared divided by 2x?
2x.
What is negative 18x divided by 2x?
2x minus, I don't know, 4.
What's
Or
18 divided by
I don't
2?
know. 6.
Do you know?
Seems like 9.
I do know. It's 9. Okay? The second group, what kind of number, what kind of term do I have? Positive or negative? So I'm taking out a positive number only. What do 30 and 135 have in common?
15.
Definitely.
15.
How did you figure that out so fast?
Well, okay, here's one way. You know you need this to match, right?
Yeah.
So if this is a 30 and you want to turn it into a 2, what are you going to have to divide it by?
15.
15. 30x divided by 15 is 2x. And let's just check. Let's check the math. Let's check negative 135. Divide that by 15. And we're going to hope that that is 9. And it is, in fact, negative 9.
Nice.
Okay? All right. So my factored form, I'm going to ask you for this on the test. What is your factored form?
Oh, 2x minus 9.
And then-
Or is it equal x equals 0?
Well, not yet. Just the factored form is going to be 2x minus 9. And what else?
2x
plus
plus
15. And then equals 0?
That equals 0. That's your factored form. But is that the solutions?
Wait.
Or zeros? No.
Because then you gotta do the thingy with like the x and then like the thingy. I don't remember.
You need to take, I think what you're trying to verbalize is that you're going to take each of your factors and set them equal to
X or
0
Oh,
and
that's-
solve for x. Okay?
Yeah.
So here's your factored form. And then we want to get our actual zeros here. So to do that, we're going to take our two factors. 2x minus 9 is one of them. Set it equal to 0. The other one is 2x plus 15 equals 0. And now we have to solve for x. This is the actual solving part. That's the only thing that's really new in solving by factoring because y'all factored for a while. So for 2x minus 9 equals 0, how do you solve that for x? I get x by itself. Add the 9. 0 plus 9 is? Do you have x by itself though?
No, you
So what do you do,
divide
Miles?
by-
Divide it by 2. Now, I would be okay. You can put 9 over 2 and alpha y equals. Does it reduce anymore? Does it reduce?
Is 0 a number?
So all you do is just swap the sign and get rid of the.
Correct. Correct.
Then why do we do all the other stuff? Why can't we just?
Because you have to factor before you can do that. Okay, so 9 over 2. Is that one positive?
Yeah.
What is this question actually asking for? The positive one. So is this this is our answer to the question?
Yeah.
Is 9 over 2. What if it wanted it to be a decimal? Do you remember how to change it to a decimal?
The math.
Math. And then number 1 changes it to a fraction. Number 2 changes it to a decimal. So you could get 4.5. 4.5. This is the actual answer, either of those. But just for practice, what's the other 0? Braden, do your little trick. What'd you say?
Huh? Oh,
Move
it's
it.
negative 15.
So minus 15, 2x equals negative 15. But then what do you need to do for x?
Almost got it. Just get rid of it.
What? How do you get rid of it? By, no, dividing. And this is, negative 15 over 2. So this one is not my actual answer to the question because my question just wants the positive one. I'm going to ask you for both on your test. You need to be able to find both there. Okay? So, test is, let me go to the calendar real quick. Test is next class. What we're going to do now, we're going to go to Canvas and we're going to do a 3-question CFU that is linked here. And then after you finish that, you can work on your test review. I have a key to the review, all the things. It's 2 separate grades, y'all. It's 8 questions, 4 each. 4 factoring, 4 quadratic formula. And you got to have your review done, which you don't get finished during class today. You need there'll be your homework. And when you come in, we're not going to have a whole lot of time because we're going to need to get started on this. So go to Canvas, start working on this CFU, and then we'll start working on test review after that.